Hey everyone, it's Daniel. Thank you so much for checking out the video. I think it was an awesome training. It was all about how to create a powerful Facebook group that can be also monetized for your business. We're going to talk about how to choose a name, how to do content research, how to welcome people inside and make sure that they are active and engaging. Cierra over-delivered big time. It was a 2 hour training that we actually held live inside my Authority Hackers Facebook group. If you're not a member yet, I would highly suggest you to join us using the link below. This was a live experience that you can enjoy if you'll be a member. We actually hold 2 live trainings every single week. Also, please, if you like the training, make sure to also like, comment, and consider subscribing if you want more awesome stuff about digital marketing, business growth, lead generation, and all the amazing stuff that you can find in this channel. So guys, this is a 2 hour training. Get yourself ready. Bring a pen and paper. There's so much to write. So let's start. And without further ado, I'd like Cierra, if you can share with us a little bit about yourself before we can start. It would be awesome.
I'm a community engagement strategist, and I have been over the last couple of years helping people with their Facebook group communities to not just grow the community, but also make sure that the people who are in there stay active and they enjoy it and they want to be there. They want to raise their hand and say, yes, I want what you're offering. So that's basically, we're going to talk about the absolute basics for that today.
And Cierra, I think this is a fascinating topic because Facebook group, just my 2 cents on it, Facebook group guys are an incredible tool to actually both nurture your relationship with your customer and to also, build your authority online. Because on some profiles on Facebook or business pages, Facebook group has a very high advantage, which is the high reach, okay? So when you post something, you actually get a high reach, a much higher reach than if posting the same type of content on your personal profile, for example. So groups are a great way to actually, build your authority and to get to more people to actually see your stuff. And we're also going to share a little bit about how to monetize it a little bit later. And I think it's awesome. So thank you so much for that opening. And yeah, it sounds wonderful. So I'd love it to jump in and start, discussing how do we actually do that.
Well, so the very first thing that I want to talk about is people's mindset when they're starting to create their Facebook group community. A lot of people come in with the mindset of, well, I want to make sure that I'm able to offer my product, or I want to make sure that, people are signing up for my program or that I'm getting clients. And they come in with this whole mentality of, I have to grow my group and I have to have a really wide audience. And that's kind of coming from the perspective of running ads all the time, the perspective of advertisements on television. You want to get it in front of more people all the time. But the biggest thing that we want to think about is making sure that we're getting the right quality of people. So what does a real community look like? I wrote down some notes specifically for community engagement and strategy. And when we get down to strategy, that's when we're going to kind of jump through what you need to do starting out with your Facebook group if you haven't already done this, which a lot of people haven't. I've jumped into so many groups recently, and there's so much work to be done, right? So what a real community looks like is not just you posting in there all the time, which I know that's one of the major overwhelms that I see with people is they're like, I have to post all the time. I'm always in my group. I'm always commenting. I'm always asking questions. I'm always in there. And in an actual community, if you think about it, like here in the US, we have the Chamber of Commerce. What do you have over there, Daniel?
Chambers of Commerce. I'm actually not really familiar with that term.
The Chamber of Commerce, it's like where they handle business meetings for all of the local businesses where people can go network and rub shoulders with each other. Do you guys have something like that where you're at?
So basically networking events. Yeah, we have plenty of them.
Okay, cool. So your Facebook group community should be like the same way that you think of as a networking event. You wouldn't just, Russell Brunson, I think you have one of his books, right? I think you shared it recently.
Russell Brunson, I have all of his books. I actually got 5 copies of his latest book. Yeah.
So he does the funnel hacking live every year, right? And you wouldn't ever go to his funnel hacking live event just only to listen to him. You would also go with the intention of meeting other people while you're there and getting to know them and building those relationships. And I believe that that's really what he wants, is he wants a community to be birthed out of it, right? So that's what your group is going to be for. And that's what a real community looks like, is actually being able to network, is your members networking with each other, not just them knowing you and liking you and trusting you, which is of course, one of the key factors. But you also want your members to be networking with each other and creating and building those relationships with each other. So that's a huge mindset shift, because a lot of people don't think about that. So the next part of it is engagement. And that is really focused on your target market. If you're posting the right kind of content, if you're really doing things that cause people to want to engage with each other. And one of the things that I see a lot of people do is they'll post viral type content in their group, but it's not relevant to what their group is about. And so you definitely want all of your content to be 100% relevant. Now, this is something that Daniel does really, really well. Isn't that right?
Thank you. I drew my best. And I think that it actually is an important topic, guys. I want to quickly address that. It doesn't necessarily is true only for groups, but I see it happening all the time. I see people only focusing on the kind of posts that I call fluff posts. Fluff posts are basically all the questions and all the topics that are, they're extremely viral. Usually these are very short questions like, what is the last book that you've read? And yes, they have a time and a room from time to time to actually do that. I also create some of them, but it's not the type of content that will actually lure your customers, I think. Yes, it is stuff that usually will go viral. It's already proven to go viral before, and this is why people share it like crazy. But this is showing nothing on, I mean, it has no value. It doesn't show your authority. It doesn't show that you know anything. It doesn't correlate to your business. It doesn't do anything that is really relevant for you or your business. It's just there to get engagement. And yes, likes and comments are awesome, but that's where it ends. And I think that people should, try to more focus on the value kind of post instead of the fluff. And yeah, this is, I think, also very important inside your group. But even without it, even outside of it, fluff post doesn't need to be your main focus, I think, on Facebook or on social media overall.
That's good. That's perfect. Daniel's pretty smart, you guys. You should probably listen to him.
Thank you. I get so many compliments for you. It's a great
Well, I should hope so. You're the host of the channel. You're the host of the group. You should be, you're the leader of the group, right? So one of the other things that I like to focus on when you're doing viral type content. So we talked about questions, but now when you're actually sharing valuable information for your audience, you want to make sure that the information you're sharing is something that is shareable. And the way that I like to think about this perspective is, would somebody else want to share this? Not just, do I want to share it? Because of course, we all think our ideas are the greatest. We all think we have really brilliant ideas, and we do, but are we sharing it in a way that's valuable for other people to want to share it? And so that's kind of a perspective that you think of before you actually put your post up. And the great thing about it is, I didn't actually have this on my notes, but I wanted to throw this out here. If you are creating a free space for people to come and network and be a part of a community, you want to make sure that it's a private group and not a public group, because if it's a public group, they can already see all the content. Why do they need to join? Why do they even need to let you know that they were there? So you definitely want to have your group be private. And then once they're inside, they're not going to be able to share that awesome shareable content unless they invite somebody to your group, which is really what you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the next part is the actual strategy. And I'm going to share briefly about what my strategy is that I use with all of my clients when I help them with their Facebook groups. And if you guys have any questions, drop them below. I did see Tim Alexander dropped a question in there. It says how to make it relevant without being spammy. And so we'll definitely talk about that. I actually have an action step that we're going to do here in a little bit that you can use today. You can go implement it today and just test it out and start building up some of those really great conversations and relationships with prospects and clients and possible new members for your group.
Yeah. So guys, real quick. Yeah, I want to address it real quick. It's great that you're starting to fill up the questions. I highly encourage you to do so because, just like Cierra just mentioned, like any other live that we do, we also include a QA towards the end. And Cierra did an awesome job to actually address all the topics. So chances are that the questions that you have now will be addressed. And if they don't, if we don't address them towards the end, we're also going to, bring up your questions on screen and we're going to address all of them. So this is just it. Please continue.
Yeah, you're great. I love it. So I also wanted to shout out Marilyn is watching live, and we really, really appreciate you, Marilyn, and you, Tim, for hopping on and giving us those comments right now and participating. So if anyone else is live with us, can you see how many people are tuned in?
It's, I think, 6 now. This is what I can see. Yes.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So if you are tuning in live, go ahead and drop a comment down below and let us know. And because we're using StreamYard, you need to go to the StreamYard link and plug in your name, or else it's just going to show up as Facebook user for us here.
Very true. Right.
Daniel's the one who turned me on to StreamYard. So thank you. Thank you for that.
I mean, it's awesome, but you're quite knowledgeable about it. I wasn't needing to actually say the Facebook user thing. You already knew that. So you're pretty knowledgeable about that service, I guess.
Oh, well, I'm just looking off to the side. It says Facebook user says, let's go.
So yeah, this is exactly the reason. Guys, you have a link, and if you want us to be actually able to see your names, you need to press on that link, and that's it, okay? Afterwards, we can see your actual name.
Okay, I see a couple people. I think Corinne and Marietta, and okay, cool. I opened it up on my phone. So just make sure that you put your name in there, like you said, and I'm gonna have it off to the side so I can't see it and I won't pay attention to it. So jumping into the strategy, my strategy is I actually start with the absolute foundation, because there's a lot of groups out there that have already grown to several thousand people, and I've talked to them and I've gone into their group, and some of them, they don't even have an admin team or moderators yet. And so that's one of the very first things that they want to jump into. But building a team actually becomes a struggle when you don't already have your systems in place before that. So what I always start with is the foundations. And the very first thing that we start with, and my strategy is the C5 strategy. So it's a bunch of C words to keep it extremely simple. If you did not bring a pen and paper, you need a pen and you need a paper so that you can take notes, because instead of writing or instead of typing it, typing, a lot of people type their notes, but it's been scientifically proven that if you will use your pen and write it down, your brain processes it in a different way and you retain it better. So that being said, hopefully you're taking notes. And the very first C is clarify. And what we do with clarify is we actually build out the entire structure of the group. So this is where we're going to jump into some basic stuff. If you don't have a group, these are things that you are going to want to look at and that you're going to want to have in place. So the very first thing that I wanted to bring up was the join application. And Daniel, what do you have on your join application?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I completely transformed it in a couple of days ago, because I, just like you, want to make sure that the people who join us are, of high quality and are very serious about that. And I also wanted to make sure that the onboarding experience is better than most groups, because what most groups are actually doing, from what I've seen, is that, they accept you, they ask for your email address and a couple of questions in addition, just to make sure that you're real. But then they just, raise a post. And this is something that I've done. Raise a post with all the new names, and that's it. And that's, for my opinion, not really a good motivator to actually participate inside a group. So what I'm currently doing is building a whole flow sequence using ManyChat, that day by day introducing them to the group and asking them for small commitments. So the first one, they get actually a video from me, like 50 seconds, congratulating them for actually joining the group. After, obviously, they do a quick application process. So like filling the questionnaire, telling me who they are, what's their business, what's their email, and stuff like that. And then throughout the days, I make them more and more engaged inside the group. It's going to be awesome, actually, and I cannot wait to show it to you. But it's not there yet. It's not ready like 100%. It's on the draft kind of.
Yeah, Marilyn says that you should share that with the group and teach how to create that flow, because that sounds super interesting, doesn't it, guys?
Well, Marilyn was actually one of my first testers. She was kind enough to actually have a conversation with me and test all the things. So she got a sneak peek. And yeah, this is something that I'm very excited about because I've been building it for about a week or two now. It's going to be awesome, and I'm going to share it with all of you guys. And just stay tuned inside the group. It's going to really make us so different than other groups that I've seen. I see no one does that. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up and that you were using it in that way. There was another program that I was a part of, and they used email sequences in the exact same way. And it was the only email list that I ever actually opened up every single email. Like I've been on so many email lists over the last year, and it was the only one that I've ever opened up every single email. I'm not a super huge fan of email lists because most of it is just fluff. And I like to be extremely intentional with what I'm focusing on and learning, because like right now, if you're focusing on your Facebook group, you don't want to be focusing on what you do on LinkedIn and what you do on YouTube and what you do on other platforms, because it's going to pull your attention away. So you want to be completely 100% focused. So that's why email lists are not my favorite, but I digress. I won't talk about that anymore.
No, that's actually awesome, because I'm aware of the statistics on email, and just the open rates are, well, they are kind of low. And this is a platform that I think is, I mean, I'm not trying to say that it's dead like most people. I really do believe in emails. But as for main focus, I decided on going to ManyChat because the open rates are just incredible. There's no any kind of platforms that I think has a higher percentage rate right now from the, well, I just tested it on 10 people, but it's 100% open rate. And usually it's like 70% and up. So it's amazing. This is why I decided to go on there. But later on, emails would also be amazing. You know, just to make the onboarding experience a little bit more personalized and a little bit easier for the people. This is what I'm trying to achieve.
You're doing great. You're doing fabulous. I love it. So Marilyn actually brought up a really good point about that. And this is one of the points that I was going to make is for all of my clients, I don't recommend putting email in the join application or in the about section, because the group about section is something that everybody can see. That's open to the public. That's like your first view that people get of your group. And not everybody reads that. Some people do, but a lot of people will drop their link in there. And then in the join application, there's a place where you're supposed to fill out your email to sign up for email subscription. And when you do that, it, like she said, it takes you outside of Facebook. And so now your group becomes dependent on something else. And you don't want your group to be dependent on anything else. You want your group to keep people within the platform, because then that teaches them to engage in your group. So that was great that she brought that up. That was perfect timing, Marilyn. She's on point.
Marilyn is awesome. I know her. She's amazing.
So in the join application, what I always recommend is you want to have a couple questions that are kind of leading questions that, of course, like he said, help you know that they're a real person. And then it also is a chance for your group rules to be there. And so this is a perfect lead in to your group rules. For your group rules, you want to make sure that it's not just a bunch of negatives, because when people see a bunch of negatives, it makes them feel like closed up. And I don't know if you've ever been around kids and told a kid not to do something. What happens when you tell a kid no?
He wants it even more.
Yeah, well, and he does this. He gets mad and he's upset. And so it's the same way. I mean, it's a basic human instinct. When somebody tells you, no, you can't do this, it kind of turns you off from wanting to be open and engage and comment and talk with people. And so that's one of the things is you don't want all of your group rules to be negative. So join application, you got your questions, you got your group rules in there. That's something that they see after they click to join. What happens before that? Daniel he's really good with his pictures. I think that his background image. So Daniel he's on YouTube. And I think, were you YouTube before Facebook?
Actually, I have YouTube for a couple of years now, but it was from my old industry, which is e-commerce. I've switched things into digital marketing. But YouTube is a great source of traffic. I mean, it's quite big there because of how long it's been running.
Well, so the mentality with YouTube is working to create super fan communities. You know, you want to have your super fan, and that's really what you can do with Facebook groups. And so Daniel, coming from that whole YouTuber's mentality, his background image is it's pretty good. You know, it has a clear shot of his face so that people get that instant connection, looking at his eyes, looking at his smile, seeing that, okay, this is a real cool, down-to-earth person. But then it also has, you know, what your group is and what your group's about, who it's for, what it does, basic things like that. And you've also done that with your group name as well, making sure that it addresses who it's for and what it does. And that's the absolute simplest way that you can talk about it. Thoughts on that?
Well, group covers on your Facebook profile, covers on YouTube, no matter what platform you're in, are a great way to actually, again, show what it is about, why it's relevant for them, and to actually get them engaged. So this is why I also always make sure to add a call to action. So if it's like the Facebook kind of group kind of cover, so when someone joins into your group, before he actually fills up the questionnaire, he uses that background to actually see what your group is about. And then when you have a call to action to actually click on the join, he is getting like, it's easier process for him to actually move on to their next step. Because you might think that it's obvious, okay, create the application now, join in, but the call to actions are also helpful. And thank you for the nice compliments over my kind of graphics. I spent a lot of time into creating that. This is actually a side hobby that I have, like Photoshop and stuff. I really like and enjoy creating graphics.
That's awesome. So I'm just going to put a little check mark next to the thing we've already talked about. So we talked about group rules. We talked about the join application. We talked about background image, group name, just so that you guys know you can only change that once you get that in there. You can only change it like every 28 days. This is one of the only things that you want to be a little bit slower to get started on. So you don't want to change it too often, obviously, because you can't. So once you change it, it's set in stone for a short period of time. So with everything else, with your join application, you can change that as often as you like. With your rules, you can change that as often as you like. With your description, you can change that whenever. So just with your group name, that's the only thing that you want to, I don't want to say hesitate, because I don't like you to hesitate, but but be a little slower to change that. So talking about the about section, I think Daniel is going to throw up a link to one of the other trainings that was done recently in the group about copywriting. Do you have that link ready?
Yeah, with Kirsten. Yeah,
okay,
we had
cool.
a live training, guys, with Kirsten. It was awesome. Yes.
So when it comes to copywriting, he's going to show the link down below. And so you can go look at that. But your about section is where you want to have your copywriting. This is like the first few lines, obviously, are going to be your hook. This is what's going to make people want to stay. A lot of people don't ever read past the first few lines. So if you make them, I like to use this term, this phraseology, juicy and delicious. It makes people want to keep reading. It's like when you're sitting in a restaurant and you're waiting for your food and you're smelling every other person's food going by you. Your mouth starts salivating and you're just ready for it. That's what those first few lines are like for you. And so you want those to be juicy and delicious. And then you have your copywriting down below. And the whole point of the about section is to make people click to join. That's the only purpose. It's not to link them to your website, because if you do that, they're probably not going to join your group, because they already got what they were coming for, you know? And so any links, you want to keep that inside the group. Anything to add on that?
Well, I think that you addressed a very important topic that a lot of people miss. So thank you for that. And guys, I added the link to our interview with Kirsten. You have a link to YouTube inside the comments, so you can click on that later. It is very important, guys, to not confuse your audience. I mean, they came through to do one specific goal that you desire, which is, in this instance, to join your group. So if you'll add links to other platforms and stuff, yeah, they might be interested in that as well, but you're actually misleading them. You're actually navigating the process towards a different goal, and then they get confused and they never actually proceed to the next step, which is joining your group. And one more thing that I wanted to address about naming the group. Naming the group, for example, is also something that I delayed on a long time. I mean, we had a name. I don't know if you guys remember it. It was really keywords driven. There was no name. There was keywords. And now we change it to Authority Hackers, which I think is a sweet name, and I like it. And it's Authority Hackers and then relevant keywords. And I was actually hoping to. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, we just mentioned that you can change all the policies and stuff as many times as you'd like, but I actually like to give you a small tip which can come in handy not just on Facebook but on all platforms. When you're making those changes, sometimes the platform actually, creates a notification for members. So like you change you change something, the description, and then your entire group get a notification that you changed something. And the reason that I mentioned that is because sometimes people think that they can change it like 20 times a day. And I've been a part of such groups. I've been a part of a group. I'm not going to mention name. It's actually a friend of mine. But he has been changing the cover, the cover photo like 20 times already. And every single day I see that the group is actually inactive, but I get a notification about the cover, and it's kind of annoying. So I wouldn't say be careful with that, just like Cierra mentioned, but I would say don't do it too many times, because your entire group sees those changes and it can bug them, okay, if you're doing it too many times. So this is just that. And I also wanted to address one question, if you have any quick tips about that, because I know that some question that I many times get, and I was interested in knowing about it as well when I first opened my group, was about the balance between a name and keywords inside a name, because keywords are also important. And as I just mentioned, I was entirely keyword driven before. And I think that this is a thing that a lot of people think about. So if you have like a quick tip before we can continue, I think it would be awesome, because I'm sure a lot of people are curious about that.
So the biggest thing that we do is we make sure that the name addresses who it's for, and then what result they get just from being a part of the group, not from your offer, not from your products, not from your clients, just from being a part of the group. What is the result that they are going to get? And I'm a very results driven person. So when it comes to everything, you think about what is your target market's pain, and what is the pain point, and what is the result that they're wanting to overcome. So that's really what your group is going to be for, is just like, it's almost like a soft sell. And what I call a soft sell is, I think it was Tim that talked about, how do we make sure it's relevant without being spammy? Don't spam. Just don't ever do that. Like, never. Like, if it seems like, if you look at this and if it was somebody else's and you wouldn't click on it, don't do it. So that's a really good perspective, is if somebody else was doing this, would you want to click on it? And don't think about like your best friend and, yeah, of course I would click on my best friend's thing because I love them and I support them. No, think about like your biggest rival online. I don't want to say worst enemy, but your biggest rival online. Would you click on that if they shared that? No, probably not. So what would you click on, and come from that perspective whenever you do that. So as far as what keywords to use, whatever your niche or industry is, that's what you're going to focus on. And there's a couple different platforms that you can use outside of Facebook to find some specific things about your target market. One of the ones that I use is called Quora, and I think that's Quora, or maybe it's Quora. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. If you guys want that, you can ask me and I'll link it or something. But it's a great like question and answer platform where you can go look for your target audience and see what kind of keywords they're asking about, what kind of questions they've brought up. But that's one place that you can find it. It's basically, that's like your SEO. Your group name is your SEO, because people, when they see that, or when they're searching for certain groups on Facebook, your group name is what is going to be used to bring that up for them. I have kids knocking on my door. I have 5 kids, and I have kids knocking on my door. They knew I was going to be live.
So guys, I just want to quickly recap this. The group's headline, the group's name has a very important role on how people actually find your group. Okay, it comes later when your group is kind of larger. That's where Facebook really is pushing it through, and people get to you organically. But you want to make sure. I mean, it took me time to understand that you have a right balance, because you don't want to be entirely keywords driven, and you don't want to have no keywords. You need to find the right balance. So like, name your group so it will be unique. So for example, the old name I think started with lead generation, and I don't think that people would actually remember this. However, authority hackers is a unique, cool name that some people will be able to later reference to in a conversation. So finding the right balance. And by the way, as for tools, I don't know how it's called. I think it's Quora. I don't know. But another tool that I would highly recommend you guys, a tool that completely blew my mind. Maybe it will help you as well, Sierra. I don't know how possibly they can make it for free, but it's a tool called SEOStack that can actually help you see autocompletes by Google, YouTube, Amazon, eBay, so many websites. It's amazing. You can type something and then see like 100 different variations on how the platform autocompletes that, which is something that you can get without the software as well, but it's limited to like 10 suggestions. With the software, you can have the entire list. So I'm actually going to, I wasn't planning on, but I can share with you a link to my YouTube video in which I share it. It's an awesome tool, guys. SEOStack, it is a free Google Chrome extension that you can download, and this video will actually show you how to use it. So thank you so much for addressing that. I know that we weren't planning on doing that, but I think it's an important topic, and I think it's great that we were able to quickly give them some tips about that. And yeah, please continue. You're doing awesome.
Yeah, I love linking back to other content, because we don't want to cover everything in one video. That would be so much to do. But maybe Marilyn wants one of the links, and maybe Tim wants another, and maybe some of the other people who've jumped on here, maybe one piece is going to be like the golden ticket for them. So linking back to those other things is so important. All right, we covered a group description, and you guys, if you want to learn about the copywriting, you're going to go back and watch that link that he dropped in there. If you want to learn about group name, you're going to go look up all the SEO stuff in the other link that he just dropped. Yeah. And so one of the other questions that I got recently was how often to go live. And there's like a big push right now where people are telling other people to go live every single day, which is insane because it's not sustainable over time. And your audience, it's going to be kind of like, okay, so great. I was talking to she works in branding and graphic design. And she was telling me about how if you only do your brand's colors all the time, then your audience gets used to it and they start tuning it out. And so the same thing happens with lives. If you are going live all the time, your audience gets used to it, and then they'll just be like, oh, I'll watch it later. Or, oh, you know what? I don't have time, so I'm not going to watch this one. And then you never know which ones they're actually getting. But if you are consistent with your lives, like Daniel, he does this really well in his group. If you're consistent with your lives, then it's going to just let them know, hey, I know Daniel was going live on Thursday every single week. So if I'm not able to tune in live, which I'd love to do because then I can drop my questions and have them answered immediately, then I can watch it on the replay. And they know that on Friday, they're going to be able to watch that Thursday live or something. And so that's one of the things the biggest thing is just to be consistent. It doesn't matter what day you choose. It doesn't matter what time you choose, as long as you are consistent.
I think it's very important. Thank you for addressing that. Guys, when you're doing something consistently enough for a specific amount of time, people get used to it and they actually grow expectation for that. So like if for example, I have the No One Left Behind Tuesday. So it's the same hour, same day, every single week. And people already know. I don't need to post about it. They already know that it's going on Tuesday at 10 a.m. PST. And they know how to, and they are just waiting for that, and it makes the live also easier because I get higher reach, I get more people in it because again they just know. So be consistent about that, and select the days and frequency that you want to do. Because if you're not be really consistent about that, and one week you'll do 5 lives and the other week you'll do 2, some people might be also disappointed and frustrated from that thing, and they would not be if you wouldn't do 5 lives in the first week. You just grew their hunger. Okay. So that is about that. Again, thank you for addressing that. Also a very important topic, I think.
Yeah. So the one thing that Daniel told me he was going to start working on recently, which I think you're going to be using ManyChat for, is welcome strategy. And your welcome strategy, it doesn't really matter right away what you get started on. If you work with me, I have a very specific way that I like to do it, but that's if you work with me. That being said, though, your welcome strategy, you just need to make sure that you're welcoming people into the group and that you're letting them know that it's totally cool to post in the group. Marietta actually asked a question, which is extremely relevant for this. And there it is. It says, should I let people post in my group so that they can network? And the answer is 100%, because if you don't, they're not going to stick around. The whole reason that people are on social media is to be social. They're there to be a part of a community. That's why they join a group, is so that they can meet people, so that they can feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. And if you don't allow them to post anything in your group, then your group is going to be dead. And I've seen that so much. I've seen dead groups all the time. And the way that you can help with that is by allowing people to do that and by kind of creating that atmosphere. Mm-hmm. So that was a great question. Thank you.
Yeah, guys, if you're not going to let your members speak inside a group and tell their opinion and post things, they'll just find somewhere else to do that. You allowing them to actually interact and raise posts makes them, allowed to say their views, say their perspectives, and also get help from other members, which you should, without a doubt, encourage, okay? Because you want them to not just interact with you, but also interact with other members, and giving them the ability to post actually encourages that. And overall, it will just, create better engagement, more engagement inside your group. So it's also very cool and good for your algorithm performance and reach and stuff. So I cannot see any reason why not to do so.
Yeah, no. So if you just want to grandstand and you just want to show yourself as an authority, it's 100% okay to do that. But the best place to do that is on your Facebook profile, because people can go post on there, but personally, I don't like people to be in control of the content on my profile. I like to be in control of that. So I don't let people post on my profile. I hide almost everything. Every once in a while, somebody will put something and I'm like, oh, that's relevant. My friends would like seeing that. But most of the time, that's where you can put yourself as the authority. That's the perfect place for it. Why would you build a group just to only have yourself talking all the time? Like, nobody's going to want to join that. You really think about it. If we were going to, I brought up Funnel Hackers Live, so I'm just going to stick with that and run with it for right now. If we all went to Funnel Hackers Live and it was just Russell Brunson on stage talking about how amazing his product is and how amazing he is, and nobody ever got to meet anybody else, and we weren't allowed to talk to each other, and we weren't allowed to network, would you really want to go back to that event live in person? Probably not. And groups are the same way. Mm-hmm. So that was a great question. There are no dumb questions. So if you guys are like, I don't want to post a question because I feel like it might be just silly or something, that's okay. Like, how do you know unless somebody tells you? How do you know unless you ask? So it's great. Thank you so much for your question. Let's see, welcome strategy. We kind of touched on that. And your welcome strategy on your welcome post, whenever you're doing that, you don't want that to be your copywriting post. So I know your about section is where you do your copywriting. Your welcome is just like them getting to know who you are and how to interact with the group. That's the whole point of your welcome post. And you're going to be tagging people down in the comments below. You're going to be letting them know that, this is how you interact with the group. This is what you do. This is how you can get started, stuff like that. So you definitely don't want it to be extremely long and wordy. Because if you do that, again, you're going to have that thing where people start to tune you out, and you don't want that to happen. So that jumps and helps us dive right into the next part, which is create. So the second part of my strategy, we spent a long time on number one, but that's this basic foundation. So it's something that you definitely want to know about. But so when we create, we work on the content strategy. And in the content strategy, there's just some simple basic guidelines that you want to follow. Again, be consistent. Don't post the same kind of stuff all the time. So Daniel mentioned earlier about not posting viral questions all the time. Yeah, don't. That is just going to make your group really flat and boring. It's going to be like some completely monotone. But you also don't want to have like long, wordy teaching posts all the time. You don't want to have copywriting posts all the time where you're trying to sell. You definitely don't want it to be, here's my offer, here's my product, get my stuff, be my client. You definitely don't want that either all the time. So you want to have a mix of things, but you also want to be consistent in whatever you're doing and making sure, like, if all you've posted for the last few days was a bunch of topical posts where it's long and wordy, then, you know, you go back and you look at that and you say, hey, I should probably drop in a question, or I should probably drop in a video or something else. So you just keep it interesting. My goal when I work with people is to make sure that they're not the only ones dropping in information, and to really increase engagement from other people. And so the way you do that is, again, with your welcome strategy, which we already kind of talked about. And that's where you introduce for them how to interact with the group. Do you have any questions on that?
Not so far. I'm sorry?
Or anything to add?
Well, if I can, if you'll allow me to actually go back to the welcome strategy, guys, just a quick recap on and my personal suggestion for that. I mean, I've been testing a couple of strategies and ways. One of them I also included a kind of 6 minutes video for people that just joined in which I tagged them on that post. And as Cierra just mentioned, if you're going to make it too long, especially on the start, I mean, people did not consume any data, any value. They don't really know you just yet, and they don't trust you that well. So if you're going to drop in like 6 minutes video, which I thought at the time it was okay, 6 minutes, it's not that long, but from what I saw, not many people really watched that. And now I replaced it. I don't know if you see the new pin post, it's an image of me, because I didn't want them to actually consume a 6 minutes video, because they were not doing that. And if they would not do that, they would actually not understand any of the group rules and stuff. So I actually switched to text with an image. And the whole welcome strategy, what I'm currently building and what I'll share with a lot of you very, very soon, is me actually being very personalizing, sending personalized messages. This is what I want you to do. And what I'm currently building is an entire process in which I also reach out personally, like me, to any new member inside a group, and I'll actually introduce myself and asking for their opinions and and encourage them to post. But what I do is, again, just a small tip, is actually using ManyChat to send 50 minutes. Wow, a good thing it's not 50 minutes. It's a 50 seconds video in which I really pump them out. I give them the energy, and I'm like super like energized and stuff, because I want them at the moment that they joined to really be excited, and to later I also give them a call to action to actually engage inside the group. This is what I'm trying. This is what I'm testing at the moment, and I have high hopes for it. So this is just my 2 cents on the welcome strategy.
Absolutely, that's great.
Very awesome.
We had touched on lives, and so I wanted to just give like a couple small tips, and then you can also share tips too, because you use StreamYard. I haven't. I've just been going straight through Facebook to do my lives, and I like that right now. I might use StreamYard in the future because it's super cool. Hold on, let me see if I can. Nope, this way. Right there. There's my name. So I think that part's really cool. I think that throwing up questions and throwing up stuff throughout the video, that's really cool. And if Daniel ever wanted to do a training video on how he uses StreamYard and what his favorite features are about it, that'd be super cool, right, guys? If you want him to do a training on StreamYard, drop that in the comments below so that we can make him do it.
Well, actually, that's a super cool thing that you mentioned. Guys, if you would want that, please comment down below. I'm actually looking for good topics for you. And this can be just it. StreamYard is a great service, I think. Going live on Facebook is something that I used to do, but the features are so limited. And from my understanding, it's actually the delay in natively going on Facebook is greater than actually using softwares like this. And one more thing that is actually very sweet is that you can actually multi-stream on multiple channels. So like this now goes also on my business profile, which again has no following. And those people don't actually have the ability to comment. But inside a Facebook group is exclusively for commenters and that. And yeah, it's just awesome. I can also, by the way, do it live on YouTube, but I didn't want that. So it has a lot of cool features. And guys, if you want me to do a training on it, I don't think it will be too long one because it's a very cool and easy to use software. Just comment down below and I'll do that.
Yeah. I'm not seeing any comments right away. So you guys make sure you comment because it's going to be great. So as far as lives go, one of the big things that I see a lot of people do is they'll open up live on their phone, and it's totally cool. If you do a live from your phone, that's awesome. Get started. Like, just the biggest thing is just get started and just do it. Do it imperfect because you learn as you go. And if you don't get started and you're trying to learn all this information without actually taking action on it, it just doesn't stick. So the biggest thing is you want to take action. So when you're doing your lives like this, don't look at yourself. Look at where the camera is. So on my phone, the camera is like way up in the little corner right here. This is where you want to look, because if you're looking at yourself, it looks like you're looking down the whole time. And just like whenever Daniel talks, I'm looking over at my computer so I can see him. And I purposely put my computer on this side so that it looks like I'm looking at him.
That's actually such a popular mistake that I see. And by the way, I also suffer from that because my camera is actually a little bit higher than you. So I don't know if people actually, how they see me. But yeah, when I was using my Panasonic camera, actually, it's a more professional one. I was always not looking at the camera for my first lives, and it was awful. A lot of people commented about that. So this is a great tip, guys. Really make sure, I know it's like you want to see yourself and how you look, but you look great, trust me. So you can maybe sometimes like, give a small peek, but focus on the camera itself because it feels much more personalized when people actually see your eyes. It's just more, it's more enjoyable, the whole video, okay?
So I just want to run through the other three things real quick because, man, you were worried we weren't going to have enough content. And I was like, oh man, there is just so much we could be talking about. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to overwhelm everybody. But so the C5 strategy that I have, we do clarify, where we do the entire structure of the group. The second one is create, and that's where we actually create the content schedule individualized for people's group, because your content should not be the same as some other group's content. Because again, people are just going to be like, well, this is the same as this group. Why would I want it? So your group is going to be individual to you and to your members. So you definitely want to have some kind of unique structure for you. The third one is communicate, and that's how you connect with your members. And I think that Daniel's got a really cool idea with the Manny chat. On the flip side of that, a lot of people don't want only chatbot. So you got to make sure that you're stepping up and you know how to communicate with your members and how to get your members to communicate with each other. So that's the basic foundation for having an engaged group. And then at that point, that is when you want to start scaling. That's when you want to start really growing your group. And so the very next one, number 4, is collaborate. And that's where you build up your team. And so building up your team to help you with moderating your group and to give them specific roles on how to help out in the group. All of that is really, really important. But you don't want to do that. There was actually an organization that I worked with. I worked with a lot of businesses and organizations before jumping into the online world. And one of the setbacks that I saw with this one in particular, the organization was called Firefall. And they wanted to do like a bunch of video content. They wanted to have like a big team, and they wanted to have a mass following and lots of people showing up to their events. But they started by creating their team, and they were really good at that fourth part of the strategy. They were really good at that part, but they didn't have the foundation in place on how to get people instantly engaged. They didn't have the foundation in place of how to communicate with people. They didn't have a consistent content schedule for their organization. So because they didn't have all of that, their organization eventually kind of crumbled and fell apart, and it no longer exists. So that's one of the things that you want to keep in mind. You don't want to be building your team if you haven't even laid the foundation yet. And the very last thing that I have in part of my strategy is number 5, and that's convert. And that's when you turn your brand into a movement. And turning your brand into a movement, that's when you really start exponentially growing. That's when people are sharing, and there's ways that you can incentivize the sharing. But again, if you don't even have a welcome strategy, you don't want people sharing your group yet. If you don't have things in place, you don't want your group to be exponentially growing yet. You need to have that foundation laid right so that when your group does grow, people actually get engaged and they're excited to be there. So any thoughts to add to that?
Well, yeah, I actually have some. Guys, I know it's tempting, and I want to address that. It doesn't matter if you're into Facebook groups or anything else. It is very important always to make sure that you have a solid foundation, because I mean, I've been seeing it everywhere. Also, when I was back in ecom, people, it is tempting to start like growing like crazy. But when you grow like crazy and you have no foundations, you don't have the basic stuff to maintain that, that's where your business actually start seeing bad results. So like when on ecom, it was people who actually like started selling so many pieces of items and stuff that without even realizing that their suppliers couldn't really, maintain that level of shipments and well, all their stores were started to have all those complaints. And older stores also later started getting those cases and negative feedbacks, and it was just awful. So for their e-commerce side, it was not dealing and not understanding how much their suppliers can actually handle. For your Facebook group, it can be people vouching for you and telling other people to actually come and join. But if you, just like Cierra mentioned, don't have the welcome strategy, if you don't have all the rules and everything set up, I mean, the retention to that group would be so freaking low, and you would just be so frustrated that you did not wait until you have a solid foundation. Same thing if you're running ads. So a lot of people actually running ads to get more people inside their groups. It's something that I don't see very often, but I do see it. And I mean, if you're running ads and if you're really going to spend a lot of resources into getting people inside your group and you don't have all of that in place, people will not interact, people will become inactive, and you'll soon see your group kind of, getting like lower and lower reach and lower engagement until it becomes dead. Like Sierra just mentioned, all those large groups that have dead following. No one actually interacts instead of spammers. So you don't want that. And yeah, also a super cool topic that I'm glad we were able to address.
Yeah. So here in a second, I want to jump to Q&As. So based on how long we've already been, I think it's 52 minutes now.
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, guys, I also want to quickly mention after the QA, we're going to drop in some info about the bonus that you have. We have a special bonus for you. So just wait with us a couple more minutes and we would be so happy to share it with you.
So the action step that I have for you guys today, it's a viral question. So if you, we forgot to ask this at the beginning, guys. If you have a group, put what your group is about, what the main idea or topic or niche of your group is down in the comments if you have a group. And if you don't have a group, say what you'd want your group to be about down in the comments so that we can know. But I have an action step for you guys, whether you have a group or you don't. And so if you have a group, this is going to be for you to go post in your group to build a little more engagement right away. And if you don't have a group, you're going to take this action step into another group that has lots and lots of people, maybe several thousand people in it, to just build up your friends list of people who are in your niche, who are in your target market. So what that is we kind of talked about it at the beginning about those viral questions, except instead of asking a question like what book do you recommend or what's your favorite book or something like that, you're going to make it very, very specific to your target audience. So for me, I work a lot with business coaches. So one of the questions that I did that was really popular was it was talking about, if you are a business coach, what is the service that you provide? And that's the question I asked. And I asked this in a group that has 350,000 members. and it went viral and lots of people commented on it. And then what you do with that question is down in the comments, you don't just go start adding a bunch of people as friends. That's not the way to do this. The whole point of asking a question is to build up conversations and build up engagement. So you go down into the comments. When somebody comments their answer, first thing you want to do is you want to connect with them. And so if it was that business coach question and somebody said, I work in marketing and I help businesses with marketing, then I would say, oh, cool. Do you work with a specific industry? That would be another question that I would ask as a response to their comment. And then it would start a little sub conversation below the comment. And that's just how I get to know them. I get to meet them. I get to be interested and not interesting. I'm not going to go down below and say, oh, cool, you work in marketing. I could totally help you if you have a Facebook group. I'm not going to do that. That would be super spammy and awful. And I'm just not that. I'm not trying to be salesy. So you do a soft sell and you just get the person to know who you are and you talk to them and you're just there and you're genuine, you're trustworthy, you show a lot about your character and who you are. So that's what you do down in the comments below. And as you do that, every single comment boosts your post so that more people see it. And then as more people see it, then more people comment, then you have more opportunity for conversations. So if you're doing this in your group, it's going to increase engagement in your group because now your group is going to be boosted in the news feed. So your next post that you put in your group, more people are going to see. Whoever commented on it inside the group, they're going to see it now. And then if you're doing this in another group and you don't have a group yet, after you've started a conversation with somebody, if you felt a little bit of a connection, or if you're like, yeah, this person's definitely in my target market, then you add that person as a friend. And so this is something you can do today. So this is your challenge. This is your action step for the day, is to go either into your group if you have a group, or go into another group and just post a question that is related to your target market and your target audience, and see what it does. And then take a screenshot of it and link us here in the Authority Hackers group so that we can see and we can help you with that.
I think it's awesome. Guys, we were talking about, before that, we were talking about fluff posts, okay? And I might have scared you a little bit saying that they have no, well, they have a room and a place. And you can actually use that technique that Cierra just mentioned, not just to find relevant audience for you, but to also learn so much. I mean, if you'll join a 200,000 kind of group, okay, that is relevant to your niche. For example, let's say that you're opening a Facebook group about video production or video creation. So like you're going to help people to actually get on YouTube and platforms that are driven by video. By raising a simple question like, what is the one thing that stops you from creating your video or from having a YouTube channel, or I don't know, questions that are relevant to your niche and audience, but also, you know, that you can actually use that info, it will be awesome. I mean, you'll actually be able to get hundreds of people commenting what is their problem. And this is information that you can address inside your group, in your copy, in everywhere. This is like a list of potential videos and content that you can create. This is awesome. So it's not just a fluff, like what was your latest read? I mean, I don't see how this data is really relevant to me, but it's more about problems and things that stops them and things that you can actually later use.
Oh, I want to add on to that. Don't make it a spammy or salesy question, because it will not work. So if it's like, you know, well, what challenges are you facing in your business right now? People do not want to answer that. They're like, this person is about to sell me. I'm not gonna respond. So make sure it's not a spammy kind of salesy one. It's just the whole point of the question is to be interested. Imagine if you were going to one of those networking events, what kind of question would you ask some brand new person you've never met before? You definitely wouldn't say, well, what challenges are you facing in your business right now that I could help you with? You know?
Obviously, there's kind of split testing, guys. It took me a long time to understand what posts will go viral and what posts will just die. And you should definitely do that. And yes, some posts will not go viral and you'll have no idea why. But the more that you'll do that, the more that you'll find the right pattern for that. And if you'll, like, I wouldn't say master that skill, but if you'll actually have that skill, you'll be able to interact with a lot of people, network, and, you know, find your audience that way very easily, okay?
Would anyone be interested in seeing one of those posts that I've done and seeing like what the results were on a post that I've done? I could drop an image of that in the comments of the Authority Hackers group later if you guys are interested. Just let me know in the comments.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome. But let's see what others are saying. So if you want her to share that screenshot, which can actually, like, I think help you like better understand what kind of post we're talking about, just comment down below and she'll share it.
So I was looking. There's several different questions on here. Do you want to pull up a question and we can start answering the questions?
We have so many, and I don't know what we addressed already. So
Some of them we did, some of them we haven't.
I think it would be best to start from the really beginning, because I'm sure that there's a lot of questions that we miss, and I wouldn't want us to avoid answering. So if you can help me, you can maybe find some questions and I can pull them up on screen.
Oh, you want me to scroll back up all the way to the beginning?
There's so many.
Well, so Marilyn asked, it says, should there be congruency between your profile and your group? And I thought that was a great question.
Okay. I don't see it, but
That's
yeah.
1224.
Okay. Well, feel free to address that. I'll try to find it now and show it on screen as well.
Okay. So she says, should there be congruency between your profile and your group? And 100%. And I actually did a training on this live. I have a bunch of my stuff set to public on my page, but you guys feel free to add me as a friend. I did a training on how you can use your profile to advertise what you're doing. And the biggest thing is just to make sure that, you know, you're focusing on one offer so that people can know. You don't want your audience to get so split between all of these different ideas that you isolate people from your offer. So I did a training on this on my profile where it talks about the different places that you can actually advertise. Daniel does this on his. So his is a really great example for where he talks about his group on his profile page. But there's multiple different places. And I did a short training on that the other day that people could go check out on my profile. But yes, there should definitely be congruency. There should be whatever you're offering, whatever your target market is, whatever your niche is, you want that to be the same on your profile. But at the same time, you don't want your profile to only show your offer and your business. You want your profile to show who you are as a person, because if it's only your business, this is actually what I talk about in the live that I did, is that there was a guy that I worked with last month, and on his profile page, people were, as he was adding new friends, and he was just adding to get to know people and to start, you know, networking and everything. People were blocking him and deleting him, and you know, they were very turned off by it. And so I went over to his profile and I just gave him a tiny bit of advice, and I said, "What do you want people to see when they come to your profile? Because if all they see is like offer business spam, they're going to be like, no, goodbye." So definitely keep that in mind. That was a great question. Do you have anything to add for that one?
Well, I would just say that I 100% agree. Well, it depends on the platform that you're advertising. But if, for example, you're advertising on your Facebook profile, like personal profile, you should understand that this is a personal profile and people don't care just about your business, which obviously has a room and a place. But they also need to, you know, get more than that. Otherwise, they will just, you know, it would be boring if you'll just constantly you know, share your business and your offers and try to sell to them. They would not, you know, interact with you in any way. So, also, I think that it's way less effective because obviously, if you want people to do business with you, you should understand that they should know, like, and trust you. And if you're going to just share business information, not really the behind the scenes on who you are and what's your personality, and, you know, let them resonate with you, they'll never do business with you. Okay. The conversions there will be so low, they'll just not exist. So you should also give them the behind the scenes. And this is why the kind of information that I, for example, share on my personal profile is a little bit different than what I do in other groups sometimes. And it's a little bit more personal. And this is something that I also work on, because until not long ago, I had a problem to actually share personal stuff. So about a month ago, I actually shared something that I never did, which was a picture with of myself being 13 years old. And this is the information that I actually never wanted to share online, because I was not feeling that secure about myself and how I looked when I was 13. But I now understand that this information is so helpful for my audience, and it just helps me also in business, and also to get in seek real and genuine relationships, because people like that. People appreciate that. Okay, people appreciate when you let them actually see the behind the scenes. So I would definitely agree with you on that, and this is also very important. And I see new questions keep coming up, so let's move forward. And I saw something that was interesting. I'm sure it will be a quick answer, but how long? I'm sure that a lot of people would be interested in that. How long do you actually spend on your group every day? I mean, I can tell you well, I actually spend a lot of time, but this is because we just started out. I work tirelessly on manage it and stuff. Basically, it shouldn't take so long, I think. And I think that a topic we haven't addressed is actually scheduling content, which can really come in handy, because sometimes people don't open groups and do that because they think that they'll just need to be 24/7 moderating the group. And it's actually not true. You can outsource, and you can schedule content in advance. So if you decide that on Saturdays you don't want to post anything, but you still want the community to be engaging, then you can schedule stuff. So what is your opinion on it?
So there's the question dropped from there, but
Oh yeah, it was about how long do you actually spend a day on your group?
so the great thing about it is it's your group. You get to decide. I think during the day, during the week, Monday through Friday, because for me, I have one day that I take completely off. I only go online if I want to. And I operate my entire business through social media, through Facebook. And so on Sunday, if I want to go on Facebook, I do, but I don't obligate myself to. Sunday's kind of my day off. It's my family day. It's the one day I don't schedule at all. I do a little bit on Saturday, but that's because I want to. So this is your Facebook group. You can set the schedule. You can set the tone for it however you want. You get to set and pick the engagement. So I would say during the day, during the week, and to actually engage, to actually put out content, to actually be present, it could be 1 to 2 hours during the day, during the week. So if it's 2 hours a day, that would be 10 hours a week. And then if it's only 1 hour, that would be 5 hours a week. But the idea behind creating an engaged Facebook group is creating a Facebook group that you actually want to be in. So if it's super spammy and it's just marketing and all you're doing is sales, it gets tiring. But if you're actually creating a community and you're engaging with people who like engaging with you and you like engaging with them, it becomes a really great place for you to be and for you to spend time in, even for introverts.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And by the way, guys, obviously at the start of you launching your group, it's going to take more time because you have more to learn, more to do. You'll do it less effectively. It takes you time to create the content. And eventually, also what I want to share, and what I started seeing inside the group, is that more and more people starting to post inside. And with time, with enough times, you'll get your community so engaging that it'll actually be taking care of the content side themselves. It doesn't mean that you should not post anymore. I would highly encourage you to continue in that, no matter how engaging the community is. But it actually, I can say that they take a little bit of your pressure and help you keep that engagement and keep that post and keep that activity. Even if you decide that, I don't know, you're now taking a week off, they are still inside. They're still talking, networking, and doing all sort of stuff. And this is something that you'll get eventually. It just takes a little bit time. And this is something that I started saying, and I'm so excited about, because I now see that people actually post more. And this is just, I appreciate every single post, because I know that it just helps the growth and the networking and all of that. So I see another question by Tim, and I want to address that. Let me just read it. People, I think, like us, our page, and we just have fun. How do we turn that into business and convert those followers to clients? We haven't really focused on that, and not sure how. So monetization, I think it's a great question. Any ideas about that, Cierra?
I'm going to pull it up on the side so I don't lose it. So he's talking specifically about his Facebook page. And so I did my actual training that I did this week, which was just a couple days ago on Tuesday. That one was about why you would use your Facebook profile for your business, why you would use your Facebook page, and why you would use your group. So the different ways that you would use it and what the purpose is behind them. So when you have a Facebook page, one of the great things is that if you plan to run ads, it starts building what your audience looks like. So on your page, if you are just inviting every single person and their dog to your page, it is going to completely screw up that algorithm for you. And you don't want everybody to follow your page. You only want your target market on your page. And once your target market is there, now Facebook knows who to show it to, because if it's everybody, it shows it to everybody. And if your content is not relevant for everybody, then people are just going to scroll past it, and it's going to lower your stuff in the algorithm. That is why so many Facebook pages bomb. So with your Facebook page, if you say, I think people like us, do you think or do you know? Like, I don't know if Tim is still on here. It almost looked like he was waving by earlier. Is he still here? Is Tim still with us?
Not sure. He actually complained about bad connection a couple of
Yeah, I
times.
saw that.
Yeah, I don't know, guys, if you can hear us well or not.
If it's a bad connection, you can watch it on the replay, or you can watch it when he puts it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But so with your Facebook page, it says, how do we turn that into business and convert those followers into clients? It's just like any kind of funnel process. When people first like your page, they're just getting the opportunity to like, you trust you. They don't want to buy yet. Most people don't want to buy yet unless they have a very urgent need. They're not ready to buy. They have to get to know you first. You have to kind of take them through that process. And the funnel starts out really, really wide, and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller as it gets to the point where they're realizing that need needs to be addressed immediately. So taking them, you got to think about it like a journey, like you're taking people on a journey to get to the destination, and the destination is your solution that you have to solve their problem. And so when it comes to your Facebook page, I would definitely link people to a group. If you don't have a group is a great place for them to just get networked and connected with a community of people who like, you trust you, and that builds it up so much faster. If you don't have a group yet, and you only have a page, you need to think of your page as what kind of content would people search for and want to come back to, other than the algorithm just showing it to them and only relying on the algorithm. Because Facebook has leaned a lot towards people reviewing pages as being super spammy. So Facebook lowers pages in the algorithm less than people's profiles. So on your profile, that's going to get an automatic boost, and your page is going to be a little bit less. So you want to create content that people are going to have to come back and look for. So maybe you have some kind of, I don't know, did Tim tell us what his business is or what his idea for his group is?
Well, not to mention, he didn't mention any groups, I think, but I'm actually not sure. I don't want to mislead. I know Tim, but I'm not really sure 100% like what his business. But I know that he's still here. So if you can comment and let us know, so maybe Cierra can better guide you.
Yeah, I can give you a very specific, very, very specific way that I would do it.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I'd like to actually address and recap, because guys, I think you mentioned a very important topic, especially if we're talking about business pages, the opportunity of actually doing ads and paid media. As mentioned, and this also leads me to say why I hate so much when pages just invite all their friends to like their page, which is, I think, very annoying as a user, and also very strategy bad, strategically, meaning what you can do with Facebook pages is create an audience. So Perry Marshall, Perry what's his name? Perry Marshall actually talks about it in the 80-20 book. He calls it the shotgun technique. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but basically the shotgun technique is actually raising your shotgun, firing, and seeing what people actually interact and what people actually raise their heads. Seeing what people are actually serious. So if you'll create an audience through your business page, you can later also do ads based on that data. So you can politely ask Facebook, okay, I have that following, which is very relevant to me. This is why you should also ask your friends to comment and like and stuff, because they're irrelevant to your business. But you can tell Facebook, okay, I have a small list of very relevant audience. Now I want you to show my ads to people that are similar to that. This is a lookalike audience. This is one of the best ways to actually advertise on Facebook. So as for Facebook business pages, I would highly recommend you to, again, if you haven't monetized it yet, to at least take that audience and to see what kind of people are actually like serious. And you don't need to actually approach them into a sell, because maybe that community is just too large for them at the moment. But it's all about those small commitments, okay? Shooting that shotgun. So inviting them to your group, clicking on a free lead magnet, clicking on an opportunity, seeing your video, a certain percentage of it, seeing what kind of people are actually interested and not just fake kind of likes and comments, okay? And from there, you can, with the right offer, also try to create your business plan into monetizing them and actually going with them through the journey, through the customer journey. And meanwhile, while I answered, I actually see that he responded.
Yep.
So can you see that? So maybe if you
environmentally green consumable products. So first off, congratulations on doing consumables, because consumable means that the person will use it and then they'll need it again. So that's great. That's great for continued purchases in the future. At the same time, it's probably like lower on the scale. So Tim, the questions that I would have for you that will be really good for your audience is going to be what news would people who are consuming green, the green type environmentally friendly products, what kind of news are they going to be interested in? What kind of like maybe quizzes or something simple that you could put together, and you could just do like what kind of products do you have in your home right now? Since it's consumable products, you could be like, do you use bleach? Do you have a friendly product or something? Like just do like a little questionnaire, something that they could answer down in the comments. Anything that would be simple that people could interact with on your page is going to help boost it in the algorithm for those people. And then anyone that looks like that audience it's going to get boosted for them as well. But just start interacting with people on your page. Like I would probably do like some kind of news related post, something that like educates people on something that's really interesting. Again, go back and watch a copywriting video and make sure that your headline for it is super, super juicy. Make sure it's super delicious. Make sure it's like, again, like you're in that restaurant and you're salivating because you smell the food that's coming out for everybody else and you're waiting for your food. Make sure that your headline is like that. But do your little education post on there, do some interactive ones on there where people can interact and kind of mix it up. You don't want to do the same thing all the time. You want to make it a little bit different every time. And then every once in a while, you can drop in like a picture of one of your products and the result that somebody got from it or why it's a great product. I'm so glad you said it makes total sense.
I love that. I love that response. And just a quick question for you, actually, Cierra. Depending on your time, I know we have more questions, but I would actually love to address one more topic. So depending on your time, would you like to continue with the QA, or can I maybe address that question that I have for you?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So basically, it was about as you know, not long ago, I removed a lot of members from my group, and you said that you'd actually be interested in talking about that maybe in our upcoming live event. So I'd love to hear your opinion, because I've did something I think that is extreme and a lot of people misunderstood. And I'm still building it and I'm still split testing it, seeing the engagement now. But what I did basically, guys, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I took everyone that was more than 2 weeks inside a group already and that never commented, liked, or engaged in any way, and I just removed him with a notice. I'm not that evil. I created a warning. I also didn't want anyone to, to fakely comment or things, but I wanted to give an opportunity because it was like a last minute thing. Now I'll probably do it regularly. But I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Was it a smart decision? Was it an awful one? Am I evil? What's your opinion on it?
So my opinion is that before we bury the dead, we try to raise them from the dead first.
Okay. So how would you suggest doing that?
So I created a post about this recently. I think you saw it, maybe you didn't, but I could go find the post and tag you in it for sure. But just simply, you just re-engage with them. And so the way that you can do this is, like you said, they hadn't engaged in the group at all. So the very first thing that I would have done is I would have gone to their profile page and I would have engaged with their content. So that you're on their radar now and you are now boosted in their algorithm because you engaged with them. And if you're on their radar, then now they're going to see your stuff more.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go comment on something on their profile first. If you said you add every single person as a friend right now, right? That's in your group?
I'm planning on, not just yet.
Okay, so I would start there. I would add them as a friend, and then you can see if they're spam or not. I mean, if they're spam, Facebook takes care of that pretty well. So typically you don't get that a lot. Usually when people click to add a group, they're not spam. If they come in there and then all of a sudden you see like a Forex screenshot or, join my business or whatever, or, what's the other one? What's the other one that I've seen a lot lately? I can't remember.
Forex, Bitcoin, all this.
Bitcoin was the other one I was thinking of. But somebody clicked to add me as a friend, and I added them as a friend, and instantly in my messenger they were like, "You should join my Bitcoin business," and they posted a link and everything like that. And the thing is that I could have immediately deleted them. I could have. That's what most people do. But instead, I said, "Man, that's so cool. I love your energy. I love that you're taking quick action on this. That's not for me right now, but thank you for offering." And it started a conversation where the person just started talking with me, and that person follows my posts now and engages on my stuff, and periodically will come ask me questions. I mean, so you can always turn something around. You can always make it a little different. And most people, they've just been taught wrong. It's not that they're bad people and they're just trying to sell everybody. They've just been taught very, very wrong.
That's amazing. I actually have zero tolerance for spammers, but what you said just now really inspired me. I just hate when people like just add me and immediately go to the cell. But you're absolutely right. They were taught wrong. This is kind of information that some gurus, mentors, and course creators release, and this is awful. And we shouldn't blame them. So I would just you just made me, I think, a better person. So I'll probably start. I might just do that. Yeah, I handle a lot of friend requests, so I also have apps for that, for filtering, like Friends of What. I don't know if you know it. But I'm going to give them another chance, I think, from now on. And I have a dog, as you can. I don't know if you can hear.
Aw, you have a dog. I have kids. It's kind of the same thing, right?
Kind of the same, yeah. So thank you so much for addressing that. And I'll obviously split test because I did something that I think is extreme. And I'm still thinking about that, and I'll let you know the results. And I'll definitely watch that video or post that you said that you'll tag me on. It will be awesome.
It's the one about
getting them re-engaged. This is a heavy task that I would definitely try.
And it was because, though, you really think about it, you did not have a welcome strategy in place. So is it their fault that they weren't engaged, or is it somebody else?
That's completely true. I cannot blame them for me not doing the welcome strategy good enough. So this is, well, now I'm sorry. I deleted 100 people. Nah, I'm
No,
just
no,
kidding.
don't be sorry. I mean, your group is still growing. You're learning. Don't be sorry. I mean, it was a learning process. You learned something. You move forward. And if you
Yeah,
think that you could have done it differently, you do it differently in the future. I think you're doing a great job.
yeah. Thank you. Thank,
Absolutely.
thank you so much. So yeah, I'm obviously just kidding, and we'll do our best. No need to be sorry about things that were done. Um, well, I'd love to. Again, if you have time to, I think we have about 2 more questions that I think we can easily discuss. So, okay, so one is, and I cannot see your name because you haven't clicked on the link, but we'll address your question. So, can you suggest what kind of posts or activities we can do on our Facebook page to get attention from target audience?
So I don't know who asked that. So I recommend different things for different industries and different niches. So obviously the green consumable products is not going to do the same thing as somebody who's teaching other business owners.
Mm-hmm.
So the stuff that I suggested for him, I mean, you could maybe do something similar, but it's going to be completely different for a business audience than it would be for green consumable products. I've actually talked with just this last week alone. I've talked with somebody who does contracts for major businesses that does like $100,000 contracts. I've talked with somebody who does boudoir photography. I talked with somebody who does branding and graphic design. So, I mean, there's all different kinds of niches out there, and I would recommend something a little bit different depending on the niche. So, if
So,
somebody has one
well, my
specific
tip to
question.
you is first of all, well, obviously it will be boring, but do your research, okay? Check out other profiles, other pages, other groups, other people that are discussing your topic and niche, okay? And understand one thing, and Cierra also mentioned that before, look for content that gets engagement, that gets people to share it, that gets people to actually message their friends about it. And one thing that you should know about that, it's all comes down to status. People share the kind of stuff that will make them look good. People take business opportunities that they think will make them look good or make them feel
Whoever
good. Yeah.
Whoever asked the question, Facebook user over here, just said my target audience is entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs.
Well, entrepreneurship is, I think, will come in easy for us. But basically, again, I wouldn't exactly like explain. Maybe Cierra will, but I wouldn't exactly tell you what kind of post to do. I would prefer helping you like finding it yourself. Um, so
Just one of
one
my new
tool,
friends who asked it. I went into the group to go look. She said her name is Yani Shwari.
okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. So she says her target audience is entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs. So based on that description, I would say that you're talking to people who are just getting started in business. Because if you're focusing your targeting on people who are already established in business and people who are just getting started, it's going to be such a mixed bag that you're not going to hit anybody. So if you're focusing on aspiring entrepreneurs or people who are just getting started in their entrepreneurship, that's going to be a great niche. And for that, I would start with the absolute basic things that people who are just getting started with entrepreneurship are doing. Daniel, do you have an offer that you're doing? Like, I'm sure like most people who start Facebook groups, like, yes, they want a community, yes, they want a network, but like the end goal is to actually make a profit and to make money and then to help other people make money. So what do you have an offer that you do already?
I'm building now. I'm building it now, and it will be released in a couple weeks, I assume. I also have one that is not really relevant for this group, and this is why I'm not sharing it. I think it will be relevant to discuss it. I switched from ecom, as I mentioned. So
Yeah.
that offer was for ecom. I had digital courses and stuff like that. So it's not really relevant for the group. But yeah, obviously our aim goal is to monetize the group and to monetize our business pages to actually, be able to profit from that, from all of our hard work.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Gyani Shwari, oh, she says, where do I have to click? Didn't see the link. You're going to have to be more specific about what link you're looking for in the comments, and then
We
we
had
can link you
20.
to it or tag you. So as far as the
I'm
question.
actually going to drop in one more link, guys. I know we have a lot of links, but I actually wanted to address that. You were looking for content that will be shareable, that will create engagement. And I don't think that there is any other tool that is cooler than Ubersuggest by Neil Patel, a very well-known SEO expert. Ubersuggest is a free tool that actually allows you to create based on keywords a search for the most shareable kind of content on Google. So you can, by entering a keyword, seeing the most, the best articles, the most popular ones. So I'm not going to show you how to use it because it's very easy and friendly. But Ubersuggest is a tool that I would recommend you to try out for finding the kind of topics that are highly shareable. Okay. And
Great.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
for
it. I know you said, I know there's a bunch of links in the comments, but I think it's going to be so helpful, especially when people are coming back in through the replay or after the live is over. They're going to be able to go back in and find the information that they need. And it's all going to be there. So if they need all of it, it's all there. And if they only need one thing, they can go straight to it and find it. Or they can pop a question down in the comments saying specifically which one they're looking for, and we will help tag them.
yeah,
because that's not a big deal. Like tagging somebody takes literally 2 seconds.
So let's see. I don't know if we have more questions here. Do you see something? Well, we have a lot of people thanking us. You're awesome, guys. I think it was a terrific call, and thank you so much, also, Cierra, for staying so long to answer all the questions. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is what I live for. This is so much fun. I enjoy it.
I don't see anything. Well, what is team saying? This is no, I don't see any questions. Do you see something?
Somebody else asked, can you suggest what kind of posts or activities we can do on our Facebook page to get attention from our target audience? Again, if you have a specific group, was that your question?
Yeah, we actually we briefly discussed
who asked that. That's why I opened up my phone. This was a cool tip that I learned. If you go live from your computer, you can open up stuff on your phone and you can see specifically who's asking what question in real time, and you can go back and find stuff.
Make sure it's on mute so it wouldn't hear the live going on.
Yes. Yeah, I did that. But okay, so for hers with entrepreneurs, brand new entrepreneurs are looking for how to get started. They're looking for it's really going to depend on industry, because some, like if it's brick and mortar versus online. So if it's online entrepreneurs, they're going to be looking for, well, what kind of services, products, membership packages, little things can I do right now to make money immediately? Like people don't want to have to wait a long time. Like Daniel has taken his journey a little bit slower. A lot of people want to get started right away. They want to see that monetary return on their time investment right away. And so that's something that if you know a way that people can start making money immediately, that would be a great topic to just focus on right off the bat. And again, you can do little quizzes in there. You can lead people to some kind of a link if you want to, if you have some kind of a cool quiz that you created on a landing page. MailChimp, you can do a landing page for free there, and you could have something on that. MailChimp is one of the tools that a lot of just brand new entrepreneurs are using. So I think knowing the tools, like Daniel knows a bunch, Daniel knows a bunch of tools that that brand new entrepreneurs can use. So, I mean, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. If you thought something that Daniel said today was really, really valuable, or something that I said was valuable, you can go back to your audience and you can deliver that from your perspective. And even though, yeah, I want more people to follow me, and Daniel, yeah, he wants more people to follow him, just because I gave that information doesn't mean everyone's going to receive it. One of the greatest examples I have is I have a friend that I was working with a couple years ago, and I told her some stuff to help her with her mindset and to help her with her business. And I was like, I basically just repeated exactly what Tony Robbins said. And she was like, oh yeah, I just don't like that guy. So she didn't even listen to him. And that's the thing, is because you are who you are, people are going to listen to you more than they'll listen to me, more than they'll listen to Daniel. So
that's extremely true, and this is also why, guys, you should let people see the behind the scenes so they can resonate with you, because eventually you'll get people who just appreciate your, personality, that you'll just have a way easier time winning them over. Okay, if it's business or personal relationships, I mean, there's a lot of strength, there's a lot of power to people who actually, understand and like you. Okay, it's very important for your business. uh
Daniel, somebody said, it just says Facebook user. It says I cannot schedule content in the group. So
are I don't is that well, are you sure? Have you ever been able to schedule content before that? Maybe you just are unfamiliar with the configurations there. Can you think of a reason why a user, well, I guess that you're an admin, cannot schedule content?
yeah, if you don't own the group, you definitely can't. Admins can schedule content on pages and in groups. I personally like to, most of the time, I like to be available for like a few minutes before I schedule my content and for a little while afterwards, because it helps with the algorithm. If you are already engaging in stuff on Facebook before you post, Facebook boosts your post. And then if you're engaging a little bit afterwards on your post specifically, because the first 30 minutes of your post is really important to the algorithm. And then after that, if anyone comments on it, then that boosts it again in the algorithm, so more people see it. But as far as scheduling content, you can just set timers. Something super simple. You can just set timers, create all your content in advance. Just set a timer of when you're going to post and what it is, and then you can go post it in the group. Other than that, because when you use a lot of external apps on Facebook, it actually doesn't get quite as big of a boost in the algorithm as when you are posting it personally.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, also being actually available at the time of posting is very important. So you can, content back people. For example, if you'll see my profile, every single post that I do, I reply to every single comment that I get. Okay, because there's no reason why not to. First of all, I really appreciate people that engage with me, and I should be available to thank them for it, and at least, I mean, it's a like being decent and replying them for actually taking the time to interact with you. And then also it's like another comment. It's more opportunity for engagement. Okay, it makes people better, promote you organically via the platform. So being available during the time of posting is very important, so you can actually interact back and also open a discussion. I mean, one of the skills that you should learn is, I mean, a user just commented on your post. How can you comment with them to actually make them interact again? So like asking questions. You want to keep the discussion active inside the post, because that way it will really go viral.
So there was a question that would be really great for you.
For me, what question?
It says, is now a good time to start a YouTube channel?
Well, I don't see any bad time to start a YouTube or any kind of platform. I mean, the longer you wait, the higher the competition will be. And in most scenarios, the harder it will be to actually scale organically. Okay. For Instagram, for example, I opened my first business profile on April 2019. And I can tell you for a fact that the organic reach on Instagram back that year was way higher than it is now. So I'm so frustrated that I did not open more profiles then, because just now I decided to actually create a personal brand on Instagram. And if I would open it like a year ago, I would 10x myself. And as for YouTube now, on every platform that I'm doing, I'm not using paid media at the moment. I grow only organically, and on YouTube I can see a very high boost on my videos just now. But I'm also very consistent about the videos that I create. And YouTube is a great platform. I don't think that you should wait. It is free. It has a lot of high organic engagement there. I would say definitely give it a shot. And yeah, just like any other platform, also LinkedIn, also Facebook, also Instagram, the more you wait, the harder things will be. So just the perfect time is now. There's no better time. Sarah, by the way, are you having a YouTube channel? I don't know. I don't think.
I'm going to be launching in the next, within the next month or two. I'm going to be launching. That's why I wanted to make sure I had 4K available. I wanted to make sure that I had all my lighting set up. I wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to do consistent content, because I know on YouTube, consistency is key. And so that's what I've been waiting on. And it's going to be, my YouTube channel is going to be geared towards entrepreneurs. So
that's awesome. And I've seen your studio with the picture that you shared earlier. It looks incredible.
I set that up and break it down every single time.
Really? Why? Can't you leave it?
What's that?
Can't you leave it like that? I mean,
right now, our house, my office is in our bedroom.
Oh, I see. Well, it seems like so much work. I mean, there's so many lines and stuff. So
if you knew my husband is kind of, he's done audio visual since he was 12. And he worked in audio visual and was like the main audio visual guy for a ministry, a local ministry. And he's done that since he was 12. And he is very meticulous about how stuff is taken care of.
I see. Well, okay. Well, I actually have a very small setup. I mean, the behind the scenes is basically one light that I have, and that's it. And that's my studio. But yeah, it works great. And it will be awesome to see our YouTube channel when it's up. So do you think we have any other questions, or maybe we can finally talk about the bonus that we have prepared? Because I know a lot of people are like waiting for it. So do you see any other questions here? I guess I have a lot of people thanking us again. But besides
if people have other questions, drop it in the comments, and we'll both check on the comments later and see if there's anything that we can answer outside of the group. And I mean, not outside of the group, but outside of the live. And then, or they can drop it as a single post within your group. And if it's something that I would be best to answer, just tag me in it, and I'll come find it.
For sure. Again, guys, also for the replay, if you're watching the replay, first of all, hashtag replay, and then also feel free to comment any questions, because Cierra is in the group and she'll also be able to later answer, just like myself. I want to address very quickly what Marlene said. This is, I do that all the time, find content that I resonate with and rewrite with my own spin. This is the best technique that I can recommend for people who are just not finding content to share. I mean, they don't have any ideas. I myself don't see myself as a creative kind of guy. I'm very not creative. So I'm using books to find content. I'm using my feed. And people don't realize that you don't need to copy and paste kind of posts like a lot of people do. You just need to see something that you can resonate with or you think is important, and just, give your own opinion on it, give your perspective on it. And then it's just a new post that you can use. So I think that is it. I think we have all the questions answered. And if we didn't, just comment back again. So Cierra, first of all, thank you so much. I mean, this was a long interview, and I thank you so much for your time.
You've got tons of content for YouTube now.
Yeah, I'm sure that we can find plenty of microclips to create from that as well. I do want to quickly address, because we have promised people a bonus. So if you can just quickly mention what this bonus is, and later we can let you know, guys, how to actually get it.
Okay, so the bonus is, there are 4 different types of groups that are being used, that are currently being used well for businesses. I mean, I'm sure there's other types of groups, like the way that people could structure a group or set up a group, but these 4 are the way that businesses are using them successfully. And I created specifically for authority hackers. It's an exclusive for authority hackers. And so it's got the 4 different types of groups. And one is a paying client only group, and this has the pros and cons of that. A free community, which is what Daniel's doing, and it has the pros and cons of that. And then we have an evergreen launch membership group, and there's the pros and cons of that. And then pop-up groups. People are using pop-up groups for challenges and course launches, and there's the pros and cons of that. So this one has the 4 different types of groups, why it's good, why it's not so good, so that you can actually see which one would be the best for me and my business, and what could I be willing to commit to, because that's a big deal. What are you actually going to be able to be committed and consistent with? So if you guys want that PDF, then we will get that over to you. The word that you need to comment below if you want that PDF is cheat sheet.
comment cheat sheet, guys. I actually created, like, in case you don't know how to write it, okay? Comment the word cheat sheet like you're seeing on the screen right now, and we will later, well, it will take, I think, a couple days. I don't know, Sierra, what do you think? But we'll reach out to you when it's ready, because it's just not ready yet, and we will share it with you via DM. Okay, so just comment that word and we'll do that.
Yeah. So it looks like I'm looking at the live on here, and it looks like nobody has. Yeah, there you go.
I'm trying.
It looks like, oh, we've got like 3 people on. So if you comment cheat sheet down below, I see Marilyn commented cheat sheet. If you jump back on, like maybe one of us will go on and say, you know, at this time this is when we talk about this. At this time this is when we talk about this, so people can go through, because 2 hours is a really long live. And I know that for me specifically, having stuff broken down in bullet points or chunks so that I can go find the information I need is super important. So maybe one of us can go back through and just find what were the basic things, so that people can come back through and find what they need when they need it, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. So guys, just type that word, just like Marilyn just did. Type the word cheat sheet, and we'll later, when it's ready, contact you and provide you with this free amazing bonus. Okay. So again, I'd like to take the opportunity to again thank you so much, because I think that you just over delivered big time. And it was a great interview. I enjoyed it, really. I really enjoyed it and learned a lot of things, I think. And I'm sure that a lot of guys here, well, I've seen the comments. A lot of guys were excited about this interview, and thank you already. Guys, if you like this interview, comment your opinion on it. I'd love to hear it. So we can also, well, I don't know if we can share it, but Sarah and I actually like discussed the opportunity, the possibility for creating another training, which I cannot promise. Guys, I cannot promise that. But depending on your comments, depending on your idea, depending on your opinions on this live, would actually be more than, open to the idea of creating an additional training that will just be more advanced, because Sierra actually has a lot of more advanced topics to discuss on when it comes to creating a highly engaged community, and creating the kind of stuff that we already talked about, but again, in a more advanced way. So if you have any comments, just let me know down below. I already see a lot of comments, and Sarah, I think you should be really excited. I mean, people love you here.
Great. So I'll have to come back.
Yeah. Depending on your comments, guys, we will again discuss the possibility for another live, which is something that I didn't do with any of our guests yet. But Sierra is open to it, and depending on your comments, we'll again discuss the possibility for that. So again, Sierra, I think it was really an awesome call. I'd like to spend a moment to also discuss where can people find you. I mean, if you have any like call to actions towards the end, this is the time for that.
So the best way that you can get in touch with me, I am really starting to build my audience now. So it's getting to the point where at some point I won't be as reachable, but right now you can add me as a friend on Facebook. I'm completely open to that. And so adding me as a friend is the best way to get in touch with me, and you can come and interact and see all of the different trainings. I do trainings on my Facebook profile all the time. So that is the absolute best way to get in touch with me right now. And I'm going to be opening up more stuff in the future. But for right now, just add me as a friend.
Guys, I think you should. You have a lot of very cool training that you're actually posting in your personal profile. So guys, if you're interested in learning about how to create a community, how to create a Facebook group, Sierra has a ton of this stuff on her profile. So just, you're already inside a group. So and if you are not inside a group, if you're watching like this replay on YouTube, for example, or on my podcast, so make sure to find this group on Authority Hackers. So next time you'll be able to actually enjoy the live events and ask questions. And basically on that group, you'll see Sierra with us, and you can click on her link, click on her profile, and check her out. And
I'm the only Cierra Lueck on Facebook. I'm easy to find.
Awesome. That is super awesome. I also don't find anyone with my last name. I don't think Grenbom is very, very popular. I mean, we have Grenbom in Israel. Grenbom we have a ton of, but Grenbom, no. So that's a very cool thing, because you can find those people very easily, like myself and Sierra. So guys, just check her out, send her a friend request, and again, depending on your feedback, let us know what you think. #replay, #live. Let us know what you think, because chances are that if the comments are good, we'll have another training. I don't know when, but we'll have one.
I have one more thing that I want to encourage people to do. Whatever your takeaways were, if you were taking notes or if you got something really juicy or good out of this, go comment what your takeaways were from the live today inside Authority Hackers. So go comment that in the group today. And then also make sure you do that action step. If you didn't hear the action step, maybe we can figure out what time we talked about that, but go do the action step where you post that viral question, and then let us know what your results were. Screenshot after a couple hours and let us see what your results were. We want to see you succeed. So if we can help you in any way, let us know. Post that up in the group.
Yeah, that will be awesome. And if you're checking out on YouTube, you'll have timestamps so you can easily navigate to when we talked about that. But basically, guys, it's all about taking action. I wouldn't want you to just watch this 2-hour training and not doing anything, because you'll soon forget about this information if you'll not implement it. So basically, scroll back when the replay goes up and check out that action step. Okay, basically it was about let me just quickly recap it. It was about posting viral kind of posts on groups. Well, if you have your own group, do it on your own group. If you don't have one, to create it on other groups, right? Something like that. Yes. Okay,
So yeah, well, one of us, I think we both have something going on the top of the hour. So within an hour or two, one of us will go back in there and figure out where it was and just kind of put that down in the comments so you guys can easily find it today, and y'all can do that right away. Because and I also said too, I don't know if anyone commented that yes, they wanted to see it or not, but I can share an example that I've done. If you guys let me know that you want that example, just put example down below so that I know specifically. We've had a ton of comments on this live thread today.
Also true. And I completely forgot also I have a call in 9 minutes.
Yep.
So Sierra, thank you so much. I know I thanked you already, but there's no enough thank you that I can send, because it was a really awesome one. I really enjoyed the fact that we did that, and I think people are stoked. And yes, I can see our first example comment.
Yes, I see 2 of them.
So yeah, if you'll be able to later after your call, or maybe tomorrow sometime, find that image and also share it, it will be just awesome.
I'm going to do it today.
Okay.
I'm going to do it today. I want people to take action right away. So I'm going to do it today. So that way people take action on that and they're posting their own questions and seeing results, because I know it works. I've helped people with this multiple times before, and I know it works, and I'm excited to see you guys have the same good results.
Okay, that's really awesome. So in order for you to be able to do that, we'll end the call now, guys, because we have a call in like a few minutes, each one of us. And thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for watching through the end. It was a long call, but I appreciate everyone that stayed. And I had an amazing time, Sierra. So thanks again. And we'll be open again to discuss a potential, like another training, depending on your comments, which right now seems amazing. So thanks again. Have a great night, Sierra. And bye-bye, guys. I really appreciate every single one of you.